Hey guys, it is Curly Bella, and this video I think is really just my attempt to find something to do other than study, because I have a test on Tuesday and I should be studying right now, but I thought I kind of needed an outlet to vent a little bit, and so I'm going to do that. Well, first, as you guys know, I did the braid out. Yesterday, I think, was day 1. Today is day 2. So you can see it's a lot fuller than the twist out style. So I'm liking this because, you know, it gives me, I don't know, I guess a lot more fullness, and it's just as soft, and I like it. So anyway, that's the hair. But I wanted to talk a little bit about mental disorders, I guess you would call them, or maybe even learning disabilities. Wanted to demystify some things, or destigmatize some things. The reason I'm venting, and in a way I feel like I'm putting myself on blast here, but there's really nothing to be ashamed of, right? My son has ADHD. He also has ODD, which is a common occurrence with ADHD, where children have oppositional defiance disorder on top of having an attention deficit issue. For whatever reason, the ODD plays itself out in a behavioral way. The ADHD usually becomes apparent in their schoolwork and stuff like that. I'm, I guess, one of the lucky parents who has a child who is inattentive type, which means that they have signs and symptoms of ADHD. However, they don't have the hyperactivity. So, you know, he's not bouncing off a wall, he's not breaking windows, he's not destroying property. He's just, like on a physical level, he feels a little bit antsy, and then on an academic level, he struggles to stay focused. So, about maybe 6 months ago, he was diagnosed with that, and he is currently on medication. Medication for ADHD has come a long, long way. It's very different from medications that they used to use back in the day. It's not mood altering, it's not mind altering. His personality doesn't change. The only thing it does is it keeps him from feeling physically so antsy, and it sort of amps up his ability to focus. Initially, when the option of putting him on medication came up, I thought, well, maybe we would go a more holistic way, and I adjusted his diet, and I also adjusted the things that he drank, and I didn't use food coloring, because food coloring is known to increase ADD behaviors even in children who don't have a problem. So like minimal Kool-Aid, no Gatorade, no Powerade, none of those types of things, no pop. And then just in terms of food, I tried to keep him from ingesting a lot of processed food. So, you know, I would make his lunch for school and stuff like that. And it helped on the behavioral end. I could see a difference, but on the academic end, you know, he was still struggling to stay focused and things like that. So I guess the reason that I want to talk about this is because so many people look at mental disorders from this angle of, or a perspective of, you know, it's something that you should keep hush-hush, and something that you can easily ignore because it's not right in your face. But I guess I just want to put out there, because I know that I'm not alone. I know that I'm not the only one who, has a child who might have these particular issues. I wanted to put out there, not to feel bad about it, or not to feel ashamed about it, or not to let people tell you that what you know as a mother, what you know instinctually, is not the case. I knew that something was off. I knew that it was more than my son having an attitude problem or my son just not wanting to do it. I knew that it was more than that, because when I spoke with him, he said, I can't focus, or I have a hard time sitting still, or I really do want to get better grades, but I can't read for a prolonged period of time. Those aren't things that a child who doesn't want to do the work would say. And I've really struggled since I found out that, he had these issues with friends and family members who want to say, well, he's just a boy and that's just boy stuff, and you're overreacting and you're being like this and you're being like that. Even most recently, come to find out, because he told me that he was feeling like his short-term memory was, he was having a problem with his short-term memory, and I had started noticing that he was having an issue with his short-term memory. I took him to the hospital, and come to find out he has a little bit of brain damage from the cardiac arrest that he had a year and a half ago. And that's another thing, instinctually, as a parent, that I did because I felt like there might be an issue. You guys don't know the backstory, but I have had to fight tooth and nail with, extended family members and schools and all of that, just to get acknowledgement that this is actually going on with my child. Because, as you know, especially when it comes to black children, they want to make it an attitude problem, or they're just bad, so of course they're going to have a behavior problem, or they're not going to care about school, or what have you. And there's this concept in our community that you're labeling your child when you say they have ADHD or oppositional defiance disorder, or what have you. But the problem is that they're already being labeled. Had I not taken the steps that I took, my son would be labeled as an attitude and a behavior problem, and that would follow him in his file all the way up through school and potentially affect his ability to get into different colleges. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we do know that it's becoming increasingly more difficult to get into colleges. Places where you could just go because you were a resident, now you actually have to apply for and get accepted into. So, college isn't even the easy ride that it used to be in terms of admissions. So, he can't afford to be called a behavior and attitude problem, especially when he has more extenuating circumstances going on. And I guess I just want to appeal to, for whatever reason I was inspired to put this video together. I don't know if maybe somebody out there needs to hear it, but think about it like if your child had asthma or your child had allergies, would you not give them an emergency inhaler because you didn't want them to, everybody to know they had asthma? Or if they had really bad allergies and they had to take a pill that, knocked them out or something like that, made them really drowsy, would you not give them the medication and, take the risk that they could have some type of allergic reaction and die because you didn't want them to be drowsy during the day? It's kind of the same thing with, mental issues. It's not that it makes a person crazy. It's not that it makes a person dumb. My son scores at level or above his grade level consistently every year since he's been in school. So it's not about intelligence. It's about sometimes we need accommodations to learn. He's in a special school this year. He's doing really well. They've made those accommodations so he's able to learn the material. a lot easier than he can in an environment where accommodations aren't being made. And all for him that means is it's a small student-teacher ratio. The teachers allow the children to be a little bit more active. They change the schedule around so that the kids don't get bored, and that works for him. It's not a big deal. Doesn't make him dumb. Doesn't make him stupid. But it does mean that he just needed that extra little bit of attention. And I guess I just want to let people know that if you have a child that you're dealing with, or if it's yourself, or if you have a family member who is struggling with a child who is having focus problems or any type of behavior problem, be supportive, and don't not look at the possibility that maybe their wires are connected a little bit differently from yours, or maybe they have to learn a little bit differently. It doesn't make them bad, stupid, dumb, any of that stuff. And it also doesn't stigmatize the child. What it does is it gives the child the support that they need through their education, so that they can become fully functioning adults in society, so that they can make it all the way through school and they don't become statistics like high school dropouts and things like that, because school was just too frustrating and too difficult, and they didn't have the support they needed to make it through. So anyway, I guess I feel a little bit better. Glad I did this, and I hope everyone's having a great day. Ciao.